All right. Welcome, everyone, to Unicorn Adventures, where fun professionals play my role playing game as a break from all their business stuffs. We are diving in today. We had a scheduling mishap, so instead of two people, this is going to be a solo episode, but it's still going to be very fun, and we're still going on the same adventure. So it'll be interesting how one player is going to handle it. Before we dive into the world of make-believe and creativity, Caitlin, would you like to tell people who you are and what you do in real life?
Sure. My name is Caitlin Penny, and thank you for having me today. I'm pretty excited. I am a brand expert, and I own Copper Theory Creative. We are a full-service marketing agency, and we offer a multitude of services, but we specialize in bringing your personal brand to life. And the key to that is just being yourself.
Beautiful. Of course, a role-playing game where you aren't really yourself, but in your case, to a large degree, you are. So what we'll do in this case is usually I kind of set the scene for people and tell them where we are going in the world. We're going to take a slight deviation from that, and I'll have you ever so gently describe your character so that people can have an idea. And then I will tell you where in the world we're going and what is happening as a result of all that. So I'll have you take it away, and you get this visual to go off of. That is your character.
Oh, love it. Perfect. I almost look exactly the same. Okay, so I have a pit bull. His name is Herbie, and he is my best bud. My superpowers are a paintbrush and a mouse, because that's what I feel like I bring to the world in all kinds of situations. And I always wear a floral blazer and a hat. Today I have the floral blazer, not so much the hat, but that enables me to connect with anyone who I please.
Fantastic. And for the purposes of this game, I will also tell you that very much we can say that you have the magic of colors with this ability with the paintbrush and all that. There is this supernatural ability to impact and create different colors, different scenarios, change people's moods, reactions, because truly that's what branding is so much about to a large degree, is feeling as well. So you'll be able to use that to your desire as we go through the rest of this. But
awesome.
What has happened is you are on a constant adventure for fun, adventure, inspiration of others, and helping others really find themselves. And through your adventures through this specific kingdom, you have heard tell of this town. It is a town that used to be such a vibrant, almost port city that is a fishing town. And it had the most miraculous types of fish and characters that used to be there. But over the years, more and more stories have come out that it's really become almost downcast, that it has become a little bit more gloomy and just doesn't feel the way that it used to. You're not sure, nobody really knows. Those are just kind of some of the rumors. So you set off to find out what is it that has kind of darkened this town that used to be so vibrant, lush, and unique in its own right. As you traverse through this town, or to this town, you make your way through some forests. It's a several days travel from where you have been. You finally arrive. It is nearing sort of nightfall as you get closer to the edge of this town. Before you enter the town proper, you're sort of now, the forest has ended. You're coming up to what seems like a large lake and a town with some smoke rising as people are preparing their evening meals and the sun is setting. Before you enter town, is there anything that you would like to do, or would you like to just go straight into town? It's sort of your choice.
Well, I think I'm going to prepare my color palette and see what kind of magic we can create.
All right. So you have that well prepared. It is at hand for you to kind of to walk in. And as you walk into the town, you effectively see kind of some of these buildings. There maybe have seen better days. Not completely raggedy, but you seem just overall that things are a little bit maybe grayer. Granted, it is darker now. Um, as you're walking through, not a lot of people out. Just a few passersby here or there. You can't. It's a little bit harder for you at this point to know, is there a center of town, because it seems to be centered around this lake. The water seems to be the main focal point for so many of these villagers. But it is up to you. Would you like to? You can go and see if you can see more of the buildings. You can look for a tavern. You can try to find one of the passerbys to maybe chat with them. What would you like to do next?
I am going to see if I can find a passerby to strike up a conversation with.
All right. It's going to be our first card pull of the game of the day to see who all that you're able to spot.
Okay.
With a 7, you generally spot a couple people here or there. There seems to be kind of near you, several paces away, a fisherman that is sort of sitting, seeming like maybe he's fixing his nets. You're not quite sure at this point. He seems that he's not necessarily very occupied. Might be able to have a conversation. You can walk up and ask him something if you'd like.
I am going to ask him where the nearest bar is.
Another one here that wants to just bury all their troubles in the drink. I don't touch that stuff, never have, but I can't lie that it's taken more and more people with it as it seems it's darker and darker here. No judgment here, friend. Just if you follow this row of houses, you're gonna see one at the end over there. It's got 2 docks. That be the local tavern.
Well, thank you.
Do you start walking away to head that way?
I think I'm gonna go around these houses or little buildings first, and then take the scenic route to the bar.
Okay. As you're walking away, you kind of like, it's almost a grumble and almost a plea of where he's just kind of like, just don't go down too far.
Okay.
You're not sure if that means the drinking route, the actual moving route. You're not sure what that actually is implying, but that's what you hear him mutter. In this case, since he did not show you how to get to the bar the scenic route, we're gonna pull a card to see if you can figure out how to get to the bar through the scenic route.
All right.
And,
okay.
So the first card is going to be whether or not you're able to get around, and then the second card is, well, what do you actually see? Because there might be other things, since it's the scenic route, that you might notice.
Okay.
With a 2, being the lowest card, you're lost. You went around the other side of these houses, and it's not a perfect line. There's not necessarily a street. It kind of then all of a sudden went a little ways this way. Then there was a bifurcation, and before long, you realize you're in the middle of the city and you are not very sure where you need to be going. In terms of what you see around you, with a jack, that would have been nice on the previous pull, wouldn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
With a jack, you notice that you got a little ways away from the lake, and that near you, there maybe is some kind of a church or maybe a temple of some sort, a little ways further. But it's going to be a little bit hard for you to find your way back to either the fisherman or the bar.
Okay. All right. I think I might have to. Can I draw a mural on the side of this church or temple?
What is the purpose of drawing the mural? Simply deface the temple?
No. I think that, well, since it's my superpower, I'm going to draw the path back to the bar.
Okay. So in this case, maybe what you're instead of drawing on there, you want to draw on the ground, sort of an arrow in a way that will then come to life, spring to life, and point you in the right direction, almost like a guiding compass as you do it. As with any kind of magic and anything you've done so far, we're going to draw a card and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to say this is going to be relatively easy. So anything above a 5, you succeed. But anything below a 5, we'll see what happens.
Is that because you can count cards? Okay.
No, with a queen. No. And I've shuffled this up. I have no idea where we are here.
I was like, you played this game before.
With a queen, you are able to perfectly draw this amazing arrow with a very easy flourish. And as the arrow lifts up off of the ground, sort of in front of you, this glowing yellow arrow, which very nicely kind of complements the surrounding area and almost lights it in a nice glow, which doesn't seem like it has seen a lot of. Almost, you hear a voice behind you that simply says, "Oh, magic."
I love it. So can I?
You can choose to. Yeah, you can choose to turn around. You can choose to just book it and just run in the direction of the arrow.
Right.
It is entirely your choice what you would like to do.
Ooh, that sounds adventurous. So I'm going to turn around and meet this person or creature or something.
Yeah, you turn around and behind you, stepping from the temple, stands this woman.
Whoa!
You see her. I will obviously you see the teardrops. You see a lot of light blues, and we're gonna pull a card to see if you, with another queen. You very much know that this is definitely some sort of water religion mage. You are not terribly versed in water religions overall, but you know that there's a variety of gods that people worship throughout the lands, and that this is potentially some sort of an aspect of maybe a water deity or something along those lines related to all of it. You see her standing there after she just said, "Oh, magic," with her eyebrows sharply raised, staring at you. She's silently looking at you, and ever so slightly, her gaze jumps to the arrow that's floating still behind you and back to you. What would you like to do?
Can I ask her to learn her version of magic and we'll trade?
I would think that my version of magic is a bit more complicated for you. It's not as simple as watercolors.
Okay. How do I learn it then?
Decades of study, perhaps even decades of pain, given what I've gone through.
Okay. Well, can I follow her?
I'm follow. She's standing looking at you. There's not really anywhere to follow her.
Okay.
You can ask her about things potentially.
Okay. All right. Can I learn about the water religion?
What would you like to ask her?
I want to see one of her powers.
She kind of scoffs, and with a semi eye roll with the flicker of the eyes up. She throws her hand out, and we're gonna pull for her and see what happens.
Okay.
With a 6,
Okay.
you see a mist spray from her hand and pierce the entirety of the arrow that you just drew as she attempts to effectively cast Dispel Magic on this. However, with a 6, she does not succeed to dispel it. So the water falls, and you see her, while expression unchanged, very much a I can't believe I just failed something so simple look on her face. She readjusts herself, crosses her arms, looks at you, and just say, "What business do you have here?"
I want to paint the town colorful.
We do not require your simplistic magic here. The roots of this depression are far deeper than you may think. A simple makeup operation will not fix this.
Okay. All right. Oh, I want to know so much more.
What would you like to ask?
I want. Why won't a simple my version of magic fix it? Can I hear a story about the history of the town?
I'm gonna have you pull a card for persuasion because you're just a random stranger she has just met. She has no reason. You just said you're gonna paint the town. That can mean many things. Perhaps you were just trying to maybe even graffiti her temple at this point. But what we will do is, given that she's a little bit thrown back by the fact that she couldn't dispel your spell of that, I'm gonna pull 2 cards. And we're going to see whichever one is higher. That's the one that we're going to use.
Okay.
So you have a little bit of an added bonus. So the first one is a 3.
I'm not doing very well here.
The second one is a 7. And a 7 is I will say a 7 very much works in this case, given what she saw. She kind of once again gives you that skeptical look, then a quick shot down at your dog. And looking back at you, she says, I've been here for decades at this point. I haven't always been from here, but when I arrived, it was the spirits of the lake that actually brought me here. We don't worship them, but it is more of their creator who we revere. This used to be such a glowing place. The water was healing. The water was welcoming. But something has happened. The water is no longer what it used to be. I don't know what it was that happened, but I no longer feel the same healing energies from it. My duty is to this town, to my deity, but I don't dare to venture away too far, as if I am lost, too much in this town will be lost. I know that it has started from the lake, and that it was from some of the deeper fish, some of the larger fish that the fishermen would bring back. They were becoming decayed, yet alive. And the color, you should have seen the color. You would have loved it. But the color that used to be across this town, across the creatures that lived in the waters, it's gone. It's bleak. And I worry that is the color of the future of this town. All I can tell you is that I think it's coming from the depths of the lake. But that's as far as I know.
Dang. My first thought was my dog hates water. Okay. All right. I want to help. How can I help?
Well, firstly, I think you can start by telling me your name.
Caitlin.
Alaris. Caitlin, there is a journey that needs to be taken. And I think you understand exactly where you need to go. I am able to help you with the passage, but I don't know how much more of help I can be beyond that. You may be able to find others around the town that might help you, but I think it'd be hard to find anybody that is willing to go to the depths of the lake with you. I can help with some of my magic. As a matter of fact, even if you decide to leave and go on your own, let me at least do this. And you see her move her hands again in an interesting figure 8 pattern as the moisture from the air seems to coalesce and kind of filter through this pattern back and forth and vibrate, and then spew out across your face and seemingly your dog's face as she just shakes it off. And as the droplets settle onto your face and you breathe in, you all of a sudden realize that the water droplets that enter your mouth, you don't choke on them the way you normally would. They seem to enter as easily as air would, and you now have breathing underwater cast on you for the next 24 hours.
Nice.
So you are able to breathe underwater if you so choose. So.
Can I bring my dog with me?
That is your choice. I could go with you initially. I can't go to the depths. It's too unknown to me at this point.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Do you want to go to the lake? Are you trying to go still to the tavern and ask her where that is?
That's good. Okay. I think that we should, let's go to the lake. I mean, we got 24 hours, so might as well not waste it.
It is your decision to make, but I might recommend you wait until the morning.
Okay.
It's a bit harder for you to see at night. You notice that those little drops that are kind of next to her eyes are seemingly glowing, and she doesn't seem to have any issue to navigate and see things at night. You, however, are a human and don't have any magical ability to see at night added on, so you can absolutely proceed in the dark, or you can wait until the morning.
Okay. Let's wait until the morning.
Okay. You end up, as a result, you need a place to stay, and she offers you either a place in the temple, which isn't a whole lot. It would just kind of be a place on the ground for you to curl up with your dog on, or she can guide you and lead you to the tavern. Or honestly, you could follow the arrow because your arrow is still hovering in front of you.
Okay. Let's go. Let's follow my arrow.
Okay. She's going to stay at the temple for the time being. So you follow the arrow on your way down. Given that you cast it at such a good level, you have no trouble following it all the way in. You come to the tavern. Walking in, it's now gotten a little bit later since you got lost in the village a little bit. You've had this conversation, finding your way back. So we're well past dinner, the supper hour. The immediate thing that you notice as soon as you step in through the doors of this tavern is just this stench of rotting fish. It's a fishing town. It's a fishing village. That's not surprising everywhere else, but it almost feels like just all the rotten heads have been brought here for some reason. As you walk in, you notice a couple of patrons are sort of just sitting around drinking. One or two of them definitely just with the head completely down, already in a drunken stupor. Sort of what you were possibly warned about from the fishermen before. At this point, you see a bar. You don't see anybody behind the bar necessarily standing there. This is what you see currently. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna sit at the bar and wait for someone.
Okay. You sit at the bar, and as you wait, you're hearing that actually behind the bar there is some rustling. That there's some banging, and you hear a little like a knock, like a and ow, ah, and out front comes a basket. You see a basket hovering through and bobbing up and down as it comes across your view at the bar. The basket is lowered ever so slightly, and as you kind of peek over the bar to get a better view, you see this. You see a small rabbit folk that is carrying a giant basket of fruit, um, and is then trying to kind of heave it on. And she goes, "Oh dear! Oh, hello, hello! Oh, I love your hat! Oh, that is absolutely wonderful." You can tell that the cheeriness of this specific creature is a very contrast to the rest of the personalities everywhere around.
Okay. That's awesome. uh, I'm going to ask this rabbit if I can feed my dog some fruit.
Oh, does he eat fruit?
Yes.
Of course. Here, yes. How many would you like?
Just one.
Just one. That will be 2 copper, please.
Oh God. Does the name of my business allow me to pay with copper?
Oh, that's you have a general coin purse. You don't have a lavish amount of money, but you have more than enough money to cover a couple of fruits. Yeah, you very much have that ability. So you give over the copper. You're handed this fruit, and it's this interesting mixture where, from afar, the fruit almost looked like an apple. Like maybe it was some sort of an apple, maybe a citrus, you couldn't tell. And as you pick it up, you realize that it is almost like an apple that is entirely covered with little fuzz. And you realize that this seems to be, after sniffing it by smell, a combination of an apple and a peach.
Yum. That sounds great. I'm going to take a bite and then hand it to my dog.
All right. You take a bite. It seems that it's one of those where an apple cannot be very ripe but can still be relatively delicious, but very much a peach does need to ripen. And maybe the peach aspect of this fruit hasn't quite ripened yet. You think that it may need to lay around for a few more days. It's not distasteful. It's just not as sweet as you think it might get in a few more days or weeks as it is able to ripen. But relatively pleasant, not overly sweet.
Okay, all right.
As you feed the apple to or the papple, what the peachable? I haven't came up with a name for it. As you feed the fruit to your dog, you notice that the rabbit has jumped up on a stool and is staring intently to see how the dog is going to eat and partake of this specific fruit.
Are we about to go on a mad trip right now?
No. As the dog is eating it, the rabbit turns to you as, "Oh, I probably should have mentioned," and then you hear a sound as the dog spits out a giant seed that was in the fruit, very much the way you would find a pit in a peach. It seems for this specific fruit.
I thought you were about to take out my dog.
No.
Stefan.
What would you like to do next?
I'm going to ask for a beer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not the bartender. I deliver some of these. I don't know if Horace is available right now. He's been having some pains in his fins. Is there anything else that I might be able to help you with? He doesn't let me handle any of the alcohol. We've had some incidents, so I can get you a room upstairs, but that's about as far as I can go.
Yes, I will take a room, and I want to know where you come from.
What do you mean? Where do I come from?
Do you live here?
Oh, I just live on the outskirts of town. We have a little orchard there. Well, I don't know how much longer we'll have it. It's not been doing well the last few years. It maybe feels like the water isn't quite the same.
Oh.
I sure would love to figure out what's going on with it. And as she's saying this, she's maneuvering various keys and various things and trying to figure out. You see, she's maybe a little bit lost. Like she truly wants to help, but maybe doesn't do this nearly as often. So I'm actually going to pull a card to see if she's able to give you the right room. All
Okay.
right. I'm not going to tell you what that card was. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm not going to tell you what it was.
I didn't see it.
Great.
Okay, well, we're not doing well with this.
Well, no, I didn't say that. That's the part.
Okay.
You don't know if it was good or bad. But she's
Okay,
actually,
all right.
good. She pulls out a key and she goes, here you go. I think there might actually be a little water bowl upstairs, but between you and me, I wouldn't give him too much of the water. It's just not been very good lately. But she gives you a key to your room. What would you like to do next?
I want to keep talking to her.
Yeah? What do you want to talk about?
Okay, I want to know why she's so different than everyone else so far.
When you say different, what do you mean? In her mannerisms?
Yes.
Or are you also trying to assess if you've seen other rabbit folk around as you've been running through the town?
I'm trying to see why the attitude is different here.
Okay, let's see what you get. With a 6, from what you can tell, it maybe just seems like you just met potentially like kind of an undying optimist. And just in the large comparison to everybody else, maybe that's what's standing out. With that amount of perception, you can't pick up anything different.
Okay. All right. Let's go to our room then.
All right. You stand up, you start to leave, and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is why he doesn't let me do the bar anymore. That's going to be 2 silver for the night, please."
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm going to give her 2 copper, 2 silver.
Okay. Are you going to give her any kind of a tip or just leave it exactly as is?
I will double it.
Oh, how thank you. Please take a couple more of these. It's the least I can do. And she's handing you a couple more of these fruit. Do you want to take them?
Yes.
As you take them, you can tell that most of them are at the ripeness that you previously got. But there's one that she clearly was like holding and hiding in the middle of the basket that nobody could see. That is much softer. And immediately as she's handing it over, that fresh aromatic smell of the apple that you get when you get a really nice like organic apple, and that peach smell that you can get at farmers markets, that immediately starts wafting just from that one. You can tell that there's one in there that is really, really nice and special that she's trying to give you. You grab the fruits and you make your way upstairs as various steps are very much creaking. When you get upstairs, 2 things happen that are nice. First of all, you realize that the fruit has been very great at distracting you from the smell of fish that is permeating the entire air. But also nicely, the upstairs seems to, while still smell of fish and that kind of thing, it's markedly reduced. It doesn't smell nice. It just doesn't smell as bad as the downstairs did. So you're not sure if it was the water being served downstairs, the way the food is prepared. Maybe it's the patrons that were making a stench downstairs. It's hard for you to know which it was. But you make your way upstairs and into your room. You enter the room. It's a very, very simple, kind of easy room. There's a cot. There's not really much of a kind of a dresser, but not even a dresser. No chairs, no tables. A dog bowl kind of sitting in the corner. It seems to be half filled with water, with a couple of flies circling the water. Questionable water, to say the least.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Can I draw myself a better room?
Well, so you're not going to be able to completely draw yourself a better room, but you can
Okay.
improve
Okay.
on this room by drawing
Okay.
aspects, adding aspects of the room.
Okay.
What would you
All
like
right.
to add?
All right.
Depending on the amount and the things you like to add, that's going to
Okay.
raise or lower the difficulty that we're going to pull for. So,
Okay.
what
Okay.
specifically would you like to draw to add to this room?
I am going to draw a pillow and a blanket and a dog bed.
Okay, amazing.
I'm taking this dog
Joker.
with me, you guys.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So with a Joker, a reminder that whenever we get the Joker or the Unicorn card,
Mhm.
it means something crazy happens.
Okay. All right. I've been
The
waiting for this
Joker means that it's my choice.
Okay,
If
alright.
when you get the Unicorn card, the Unicorn card means you get to pick that something crazy happens, whatever you want it to be.
moment. Okay.
But in this case, you start painting, and you're starting to paint the pillow. You paint a blanket, and you start to make this nice and fun, intricate design because you just can't get away from it. You love this so much, to be able to be just enthralled in the design of it. And the design of it is magical in the sense that you draw this amazing kind of almost like a firebird on this blanket intricate design that is very interesting. You draw the dog bed, and as you're drawing more and more of the dog bed, you start even going off to the side and start coloring even some of the planks of wood, just kind of to add more to the atmosphere of it all. And you notice that the colors seem to be almost kind of like watercolors oozing out into everything around the room, as the entire room is starting to come more and more to colorful and to light and almost livening up the place. You notice that there's this kind of small window that was kind of half shut because it was just stuck because it's crooked and doesn't work, and it seems to almost loosen up, and the night outside seems to almost illuminate to where it's something you'd love to see through. And as all of this happens, the entire room effectively transforms into an amazing, colorful version of it that seems to just breathe life into the space. And as you sit there, you look at this and you realize it's almost as if this place was begging for this intervention, that it's been missing this kind of life and this kind of showcase of identity within it by somebody like you. And with that happy feeling of realizing that the color magic is with you and that you are the right person to fix up this place, you get in bed, you cover yourself with the blanket, and notice as Herbie goes off and curls in the amazingly soft bed that you've created. You fall asleep. As you sleep, you have dreams of caverns deep and far away, and of strange whispers that are beckoning you in not a terrifying way, but almost a pleading way and an insecure way. It's very strange to hear something like that, because it's as if you're being asked to come help, but also as if they're not willing to admit that they need your help. Not something you've ever experienced before. You wake up, and as you get up, it's been about 8 hours. You've slept well through the time, and you look outside, and through that window that you've now drawn, the colorful window, you see a beautifully colorful city. You see just almost like a bustling of life all around. And as you're looking at it, it looks beautiful, looks gorgeous, just filled with color and life. And it's hard for you to believe. There's absolutely no notice of that stench of rotten fish anywhere near around you. And you just longingly, looking at all this, reach for the window. And as you open it, the vision vanishes. And you look upon the same things. And you look, that daylight has come. The town simply now looks like it did just with more light and more sun on it. What you instead are seeing is just a normal kind of version of this fishing town, a little less gray because it's no longer the night. But yes, it seems that your color magic presented the illusion of things improving, but unfortunately did not fix the problem. What would you like to do next?
I was about to say, yay, we did it. Okay. All right. I want to go and find the caves of Whisper.
All right. As you head downstairs, you hear a little pitter patter as you're walking out. As the rabbit folk, she runs behind you again, and you hear her go, "Oh, hello. How did you sleep?"
I slept great. Until I woke up.
Oh, yeah. Horse didn't come back yet. I hope he's okay. I'm not sure where he's gone off to.
No.
But I'm sure he'll be back soon, or at least somebody else from his family is going to take over. I never got to ask you. You seem like you're not from around here. What brings you to our little town?
I'm trying to find a way to bring the color back.
Are you going in the lake?
Possibly, now that you said something about it. Yes,
Well,
I am. It's morning.
we don't want to say it. None of us want to admit it, but the whole reason this town was formed was because of the lake. And now that it's not what it used to be, of course the town is suffering. And so our trees. I must say that what you saw, that basket yesterday, that was about half of our entire harvest for the year.
What?
It's quite a desperate time. It's why I have to sometimes pick up shifts here, because we can't sustain ourselves. We try, but it's not going well. So if I can help you, if I need to go down there, I will go with you. And you can see she's very much fighting through some possible fear of her own.
Okay. Oh, we're doing this. We're going.
Okay. Are we going right now?
You got anything else going on?
She kind of looks around. The bottom of the tavern is deserted except for one of the folks that is very much passed out, drunk, snoring way in the corner. And you see her just kind of look at herself, brush herself off, and go, "I guess not."
Rally the troops.
And then she goes, "Oh, if we're going, I'll meet you at the dock." And you see her kind of running back behind somewhere to grab some things. As you look out, as mentioned by the fisherman, this tavern has two kind of docks that are coming out from behind it, so you could exit right onto the lake from the tavern, or you're welcome to go find another different way, however you want to do this.
No, I'll meet her at the dock.
Okay.
All right.
You make your way out to the dock, and as you're looking around, she hasn't run out behind you quite yet because she's still grabbing some things apparently, or doing something that you're not sure of. You walk out onto the water, and as you look down, at first glance, it looks like water. There's nothing strange about this water. It's water like water. But you're very much noticing that maybe some of the seaweed and some of the other things that, as you look down, it's darker. It doesn't look the way that you've been told. It definitely doesn't look like what you saw through the window of the vision that you saw. It looks like things have maybe been decaying and very bland and lackluster. It's up to you what you want to do next. You can just hold up and wait for her. You can jump into the water, inspect the water further. What would you like to do?
Mm, 'Cause, 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 Can I use my other superpower?
What's that?
A mouse?
Okay, what would you like to do?
Can it be a new character? Because maybe it's a mouse.
It can be. It can be a mouse.
Okay. Okay.
I will say, by the way, you have the ability, in terms of is your dog just a regular dog?
Yep, my good old blue Pipple.
Okay.
All right.
I leave it up to you. You have this mouse. What does the mouse do?
I feel like it's going to be a great contributor to this mission that we're going on.
Well, and at this point, I leave it up to you. You can get as creative as you want with this. What would you like for the mouse to do, and then we'll determine how feasible that is.
Okay. Okay. Hashtag first timer over here. I feel like the mouse and the rabbit should be friends.
Okay.
Is that not too much?
That's not too much.
Okay.
So, does the mouse have any kind of special magical powers or anything else, or it's just a mouse?
Okay. Yes, but I don't know what yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So you see the rabbit focus. She's coming from behind you, and you see, very ironically, that as she's slopping down her way, she's got a couple of flippers on her feet, which is very odd to see on a rabbit, and an interesting. It's not even a snorkel device. It's a pair of goggles, and then almost an entire tube that encircles all the way. So it's not a snorkel the way that it goes up to an end. It's a full circlet that is then able to get attached to her mouth, but that's hanging right now around her neck, almost like a necklace, as she's doing her best to make her way out to you.
That's cute.
She walks up and she says, I didn't even get your name, and we're about to go. What is your name?
I'm Caitlin.
And the dog, right? This is a dog?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's their name?
Herbie.
And you see she pulls out another one of those, and immediately their aroma hits you. It was obviously one of those fresh or the ripened fruit, and that she hands to Herbie. Do you let him eat it? Do you stop him? What do you want to do?
Can we take the pit out first?
Do you ask that? She goes, oh, yes. And you see her just kind of take her paws and maneuver her way around and just kind of break it apart and pull it out and then give him a half at a time of it. And she goes, it's a pleasure to meet you both. I'm Maeve.
Cute.
It's at this moment that you feel your kind of the pocket of your blazer wriggle and move a little bit, and it seems that your mouse companion has awoken. And interestingly enough, as the mouse kind of pulls its head out from the pocket and looks down, you notice that there's definitely some mist on its whiskers, and you realize that the magic of breeding that was cast on you, given that it was near your face and chest area, definitely impacted the mouse as well, who had at that point long fallen asleep in your blazer pocket.
Okay.
What would you like to do next?
We're gonna get in the lake.
Okay. You get everything ready. Maeve puts the goggles on, puts the little thing, does a couple breaths in through it. Questioning looks at you, takes it down, and goes, It's a bit of a swim. Are you going to be okay?
Can I paint some supplies for this trip?
I just meant breathing. Are you gonna? Can you? You can't breathe under. You're not a fish.
The water lady made me a fish for 24 hours.
The water lady?
Forgot her name. I'm sorry.
Do you mean the one at the temple?
Yes.
Oh. I'm not one for magic, but if you trust her... Oh. Okay.
Okay. might drown. Okay.
Yeah, it's your watery funeral. You all jump in.
Your watery funeral. It's the best quote out of this whole thing. Name of this episode.
Name of the episode: Your watery funeral. You jump into the water, and you kind of nothing strange. There's no strange feeling about the water. You can just very much tell as you get closer. You once again really smell that. Oof, the rancid, smells like dead fish smell again a little bit from it. You wade your way out a little bit further, and then you're able to kind of dive and go a little bit deeper. And immediately as you dive, you actually further out. You also notice that besides just the fact that you're able to breathe underwater, it takes you a little while as you're trying to look underwater, and your eyes almost start to sting a little bit. We're still going to pull a card. Actually, we're going to pull 2 cards and pick the lowest card because it's harder for you to see at this point as you're under this. That's a king and a 5. And unfortunately, we're taking the lowest.
Okay.
And it's hard for you to see as you're going through this, but luckily Maeve with her goggles, she's able to kind of talk you through a little bit. You only see the blurry outlines of some of these things, but you're seeing some fish, you're seeing some lit up things, but they look like duller than what you would expect them to. It's not quite the same as it probably was. Maeve, at this point, you're underwater. You can't really talk to Maeve. She's got a breathing device in her mouth.
Okay.
Strangely enough, you can definitely hear your dog is barking at the fish as it tries to swim under it. It seems that carries, and because he can breathe water perfectly fine. The mouse is terrified. It had no idea that you were going in the water, and it is exploring the fact that it can now breathe underwater, which is previously a death sentence for it, and it's having a hard time coming to terms with that. But yeah, at this point, you're kind of just seeing this. You see that the floor of the lake expands further, and you could go further out into it. Is there anything specific you want to do here? Do you want to just continue on?
I'm gonna draw that arrow again and see where it pushes me.
All right. I'm again gonna pull 2, and we're gonna pick the lower because
Okay.
painting underwater. That's tough.
That's magic.
But it's magic paint, and paint is soluble.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with that.
So that is a 10
Okay.
and a 9, which actually, like, pretty good, right? As
right.
far as having to pick the lower 9, very good, actually. So you're able to very quickly jot this out, and it kind of gets washed a little bit, but you get this general feel, and instead of turning into an arrow, it's almost kind of this cloud, and leaving a little bit of a trail of paint that seems to kind of zoom away and leave this little bit of a trail. Now, you can't tell if maybe it's a little bit more clear than that. Again, your eyes are stinging. You're like, oh, what is happening? But you definitely see that Maeve's figure starts just taking off after that piece, and she seems to be quite adept at swimming for a rabbit. Maybe it's the flippers that are helping. You're not sure, but what would you like to do? Are you following?
We're following.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As you take off, you realize that you can very much keep up with Maeve, but there's absolutely no way that Herbie can keep up with you
Oh no.
two.
Okay.
Definitely not as adept at swimming as everybody else. Mouse in your pocket, that's fine. Along for the ride, that's easy. But
Seems pretty accurate.
you can leave him behind. You can slow
Oh, no.
down.
Okay.
Yeah, what would you like to do?
All right. All right, we're gonna. I feel like he can defend himself with the fish. We're gonna let him chill.
Okay.
Right.
As you go off, yeah, he very much. Well, let's see. Yeah, with a
Okay.
2, um, he stops following you almost immediately and gets completely preoccupied with the fish and is just now just chasing the fish around as he's barking. He has no idea where you've gone, and you two just swim far away.
Okay.
As you
Me, the
swim
mouse, and the
further,
rabbit. Okay.
yep, yeah, you, the mouse, and the rabbit.
Okay.
As you
My
swim
team of
further and
animal
further, you actually the floor opens up and you come across just this almost underwater area where it seems like there is almost even like a current that is going underneath, like a water current beneath the water. You see some actually settlements of maybe even be that some water folk that might live here, or potentially flooded previous villages that might have been here if the water rose. At this point, they're a little bit too destroyed to specifically tell the uses for that point. You see that the paint that you made goes out a little bit and dives right straight down into past this kind of current of water that you see below you there, that is moving definitely a little bit faster. And Maeve is kind of pointing you in that general direction. It's up to you what you would like to do.
Okay, we're gonna keep going in the direction because she seems like she knows what she's talking about.
All right. As you start going down, you see her slow before you get to this, and it's very interesting because you're underwater, and it's almost like the way that you see air from when you're underwater, and it has that silvery tint over top. It's almost like that when you're looking below you and you see this water that is moving just on the other side of the water that you're in. Very strange experience. Looks very interesting. But you can tell that it is rather turbulent, that there's definitely a current to it, and maybe that Maeve is slowing down largely because it's easy to get carried away with it. But you can ask her. She has no way of saying anything to you because she needs to breathe. You can't really take that thing out to speak to you, and it's hard to speak underwater. What would you like to do?
Okay. We're gonna keep exploring. There has to be
Like
a
you're
reason
gonna
why
go,
we're here.
you're gonna into the current stream, or are you gonna just look around?
Actually, okay, let's go explore some places first. Because it seems like people are having some difficulties.
Is there anything specific that you're looking for?
I want to talk to an underwater person.
All right. So what we'll do is I'll have you. You're gonna go and explore some of those houses to see if you see any underwater people. Because from afar you couldn't really know what they were, if they were abandoned or not.
Okay.
Jack, pretty good. As you go in there, you see a silhouette, and you try to kind of chase it a little bit, and you're not sure. Like, it looked maybe humanoid, unsure, and as you kind of get around this house and get through that, you keep on seeing a little bit of it. There's obviously somebody there. They're a little bit faster than you are, definitely a better swimmer. Would you like to keep trying to find them and catch up to them, or just let it go?
Okay, yes, let's go find them.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card for you, and I'm going to pull a card for this entity. And basically, it's a competition to see how you go.
All right.
All right, so the first card for you is a queen. And for it, we've got... oh, that's unfortunate.
Are you serious?
Ace.
Oh my god. This is why I don't gamble.
Well, not the worst thing. You're not able to catch it, but as you keep on going out, because with the queen, you're doing an amazing job. Like, it just got so lucky with the ace. As it gets away from you, what you notice as it's kind of running away, or really swimming away, is that it is this interestingly, strangely shaped humanoid, as if itself made from a multitude of streams of water.
Okay.
And you see it, and it's the streams are darker compared to the water around you. Like it's not as translucent because it's not just made of the same seeming water. It's a little bit darker, and you see it jut away from you and immediately go straight into the current that you saw below and vanish.
Okay. It's terrifying. All right. I don't know if I like this. All right, let's keep looking for friendlier things.
All right. You want to just keep generally looking around?
All right, no, screw it. We're going into the stream.
Okay.
We have to hold hands if we need to.
So you hold hands. You take a breath, which seems kind of counterintuitive since you can breathe underwater, but it's more of for just pure courage than anything else. You can feel a little rabbit paw just kind of shaking ever so slightly with terror in your foot. You're starting to understand that it's very possible that Maeve has come this far, but probably this was the part that you were told about, that most people don't go down here because it seems so treacherous that you might get easily lost. And as you glance once at the top, thinking about, oh, where might I left the puppy, you just dive straight in.
Okay.
And amazingly, you got the unicorn card. So the unicorn card is a unicorn all the way around.
Okay.
And what the unicorn card means is you succeed in whatever it is that you were trying to do. And in this case, what it means is that the current is not just going to sweep you away. But at this point, it's basically a wish card. You get to wish whatever you want to happen happens within some amount of reason. But really, you can go as wild and as creative as you want to go. So what would you like to happen?
Okay. All right. Well, we survived, for starters.
Yeah, you already survived. That's a given.
Doing all right. Let's see. Okay, so I feel like I reach where I don't know where I'm supposed to be, but I find it because there's a reason why this town is not colorful, and that's my goal here. So I reach wherever the water lady wanted us to go.
All right, I'm gonna add some flair.
Okay, please help me. Yes, please.
Yeah, no, you're good. So you dive into this current, and there's just this. It's swirling, and it seems to. It doesn't completely wash you away by any means, but it definitely is kind of throwing you around a little bit. It's hard. It's a fast-going current. You're a human. There's only so much you can necessarily do, but it seems to be kind of guiding you, and you're able to almost ride the wave and kind of, in a way, and kind of surf the current as opposed to have it just thrash you around. And as it seemingly guides you, you see that it is going towards a humongous, almost dark hole that intuitively there's terror in you as soon as you see it. And just before it gets there seems to be just a little jet that seems to go whoop and just swoop you right off into a neighboring cavern just before you hit it. And as it kind of throws you out, it actually throws you out onto dry ground, or not dry ground, but wet ground, but not in water. It kind of almost washes you up onto a little bit of a shore, and all of a sudden in your mind you hear, "Oh my, that was quite a lot." And as you look down, you notice that, as if saying that to you, in your mind it seems that your mouse has spoken to you telepathically.
Okay. Like a snap, didn't know you could talk. Okay.
You stand as you look around in this sort of cavern. There's some possible light up ahead, not sure what it is, but it's a very large cavern. Definitely a lot of water on the floor. It doesn't feel very welcoming and inviting, but not necessarily as if terror and danger. It's damp, it's cold, it's eh. You're seeing Maeve as she's trying to hop her way out of the flippers as she's trying to take them off. It's seemingly that the current kind of jammed them on, and she's having a little bit of a hard time. But what would you like to do?
I'm gonna help her get her gear off because she seems to be struggling. And then,
as you're doing that, you hear in your head of, "Oh, why are we helping this rodent?"
Freaking mouse. Well, she's got us this far, so we're gonna see where we're going here. I feel like she has the secrets. Yes, yeah.
And do you say it out loud, or do you try to think it?
I'm gonna say it out loud.
You hear Maeve going, "What? What do you mean? Who are you talking to me?"
Yes, I am.
I've never been this far. I don't really know where we are or what this is or how we get back, and that last part terrifies me the most. Because I have an orchard, and there's people that count on me, and I want to help. I know I've gotten this far, but I don't know what's happening, and I am freaking out.
Me neither. Okay, well, we have to figure out how to get back. So, you can't bail on me now.
You once again hear in your head, well, that makes two of you. Good thing I know where to go.
Okay. Mouse, help me out here.
You say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. He kind of looks at you, squinting eyes, almost to say, "How dare you call me mouse?" Like that's almost like demeaning, and he tries to say all that in one little look.
What should I call you? Him? What should I call the mouse?
I've been with you this long. You've given that dog a name. Why not me?
How about Sunflower?
Do I sound like a sunflower?
You might now. Okay, let's put a little pep in your step here.
Oh, humans. Very well. Sunflower jumps out of your pocket and lands on the ground, and with a little turn and a thwack of his tail on the remaining puddles of the water, you see droplets of water raise up almost in this tiny little line and freeze in the middle of the air. It's almost as if he has copied your paint spell, but because he doesn't have paints, he has sort of recreated his own version in what he could, with these droplets seemingly pointing you to where you need to go. He scurries back up your arm and then into the pocket.
That was it? So you're gonna help me out here. Do you know where to go, mouse? Sunflower?
Follow
my bad.
the water.
Okay,
Didn't you notice
right.
anything?
That it freezes?
You just see that there's a pattern, that it's seemingly a line almost of these water droplets that is leading you further into the cavern.
Okay. All right, we're going into the cavern.
At this point, Maeve has very much taken her stuff off. You've noticed that she has a little pack, and that these flippers, they kind of fold in on themselves very nicely and compactly, that she's able to kind of put them back. And she's walking in there, and you see her kind of she's holding a little slice nervously of one of those fruits and nibbling on it, seemingly just to calm herself a little bit. And you almost see that before every bite, she kind of does that little like smell that the rabbits do, where their noses almost as if just to calm herself and for a little bit of a smell of home. This is very uncomfortable for a rabbit to be this far underwater with all this stuff. You're making your way further and further down the cavern, and as you make your way further and further, you're starting to hear echoes, and we're going to pull a card to see what you notice. With a 4, you're just you're hearing almost maybe like wind, or maybe inhales. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what you're hearing. You just know that there's some kind of a noise. There's a source of some sort of a noise emanating from further down the cavern. What would you like to do?
Okay, we're gonna follow the noise.
Okay. It's seemingly it's getting closer and closer, or you're getting closer and closer to it. You see that Maeve is starting to kind of shrink back and go, do you think maybe we should go in a little quieter so they don't see us or hear us? Or I don't know. What even is that?
I don't know. Okay.
You don't hear it crying.
No, it's crying.
And you don't.
All right.
With that 4, you definitely don't. But with her ears, maybe she's hearing something you're not.
Okay, what do you hear, Maeve? Besides crying,
I just hear there's somebody crying up there. Like they're not wailing, but there's obviously tears. Maybe they've been trapped here like us. Maybe we can't make it back. Maybe we're stuck here forever, and I'm gonna cry here for forever too until finally you're losing her.
Okay. All right. Wait, hold on. Everybody calm down. Well, does it sound like they're angry crying, or does it sound like they're upset and need help?
Would you like to try to listen again to see if you can make out the crying?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to pull 2 cards now with Maeve's help to see if you're able to make out more of it. And that was a 5 and a queen. With a queen, you now realize those inhales and that kind of wind that you were hearing, that's actually like the sniffles and the before you're hearing sobs. And these sounds are very interesting because it's not as if it's just air. It's almost as if it's a fan being blown through a waterfall kind of a sound of where it's like it's a sob and an exhale with a lot of slobber or some kind of fluid.
Okay.
It just sounds very wet. It sounds incredibly wet from not a sound you've ever experienced before.
Okay. Well, I'm too curious not to go and explore. So we're going to explore.
Are you trying to hide your presence? Are you trying to go in, just walk right in? What would you like to do?
We're going to take cover. Try and see if we can hide behind a rock or something.
And just kind of sneak your way in as you're making your way along it?
Way in. Incognito.
Okay. Given that this entity or whatever it is sobbing and making a lot of noise as you've been hearing it, we're once again going to pull 2 cards. It's a little bit easier to sneak, and we'll take the higher one. Oh, great. A 7 and an 8. An 8 is enough. You had to get above a 7 for this specific one. So just barely. You got it exactly on.
Okay.
As you make your way in, you notice that as you're coming closer, that there's a pool of water. And within this pool of water, you see sitting the creature that you had previously seen.
Oh, whoa.
It is sitting and seemingly just sobbing to itself. And you see that the water coming off of it seems to be yet even darker. Almost a pitch black colored tears that fall into this pool and color that water ever so darker and ever so darker. And that you can see that there's like maybe not even like streams, but this pool is going somewhere else.
Hmm.
The water is flowing somewhere else out. And it's interesting because this creature is made of the water, and you see that as you watch it for a little longer, as it keeps crying and crying, some of these tears are getting absorbed into it and making its kind of watery element side darker and darker as well, which seemingly maybe is causing it to cry more. You're not sure. What
Hmm.
would you like to do next?
I would like to. So can it talk? I'm gonna
wanna
try
find
and
out?
talk to it. Yes.
Well, how would you like to do that? Do you want to just stand up and approach it? Do you want to kind of hail it from far away in case it wants to attack
Hmm.
you? What do you want to do?
I am going to. Okay, I'm gonna approach it. I'll approach it.
Okay, you approach it. Do you say anything?
Okay. I want to see if it can talk, so I'm just gonna say, "Excuse me, are you okay?"
You see the face of the creature, which there's not a lot of details. It's just kind of water flowing back and forth. There's not facial features that you can really tell. Look at you and turn its head. You can tell it heard you. It didn't understand you.
Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay, so did you say that there was a stream somewhere that it was creating?
It's
Is
more
that what you said?
Yeah, the pool that it's kind of crying into, it kind of has a couple of small little outlets that are just kind of going out somewhere
Okay.
in the cavern. It's nowhere that you can necessarily go. There's further area into the cavern. This is sort of the beginning part of this kind of cave. There's further that you can go. You notice that the creature turns its head again. It is staring at your breast pocket.
The mouse.
Maybe.
Okay.
You see the creature stand up very quickly. It almost seems ever so slightly offended in its demeanor. And all of a sudden in your head you hear, "Oh wow, somebody is touchy."
Okay. Why does the mouse know everything? Okay.
I
Can the mouse
only
talk to my
told
friend?
him what I was seeing. Some people just can't handle the truth.
What did the mouse see?
Are you asking the mouse what he saw?
I guess, yes.
I simply told him that he was not going to get anywhere crying about his problems. Well, now that I think about it, I don't even know if it is a he. But this entity is just so sad. What kind of existence is that? Just being sad. You see that even though it's standing there, the tears are still rolling.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Is the sadness making the whole town gray? Is that what we just figured out?
Would you like to investigate that?
Yes, I would.
So I'll say it this way. With a 3, you have no idea.
Of course not.
But as you get closer and closer, and then you end up almost having to kind of step into the water. As soon as you step into this much darker water, you feel a slight dread. A slight dread, but a large feeling of almost apathy, of going, why did I even do? What's the point of this? Do I need to be here? It's just a crying creature. This town needs to fend for itself. Who cares?
So the water takes away the happiness of everyone? Maybe.
It's a good guess.
It's a good guess. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna get out of the water.
As you step out of the water, you feel that it's the apathy lingers, but that sense of dread that started out small and it was actually kind of building a little bit vanishes immediately.
Okay.
The apathy is still a little bit there as it kind of lingers. We're like, You see that the creature now is looking at your paintbrush, strangely enough. And as it steps forward, it reaches out its hand, pointing at your brush.
Well, I don't want to give it to him if he's just gonna make it sad.
You're not giving it to him? You said?
No, I'm not giving it to
Fair.
him. Yeah, I'm keeping my special weapon. Okay, so okay, what do you want to do with my paintbrush? Why do you want my paintbrush?
You hear in your mind again, well, he says that you could bring color back to his life.
Hmm. Can I paint his body back?
There's kind of a moment of silence. You see him kind of turning, and finally, you just hear an agitated voice of, "Oh, enough of this! I don't want to be the middle mouse." And there is seemingly this echo on the final word that reverberates back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And all of a sudden, you hear in your mind again, "Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?" And it very much feels by the body language that it might be coming from this creature.
Awesome. Wait, how did I just do that? How did we make that happen?
Oh, you did not make that happen. That was me. Humans always taking credit for the accomplishments of mice.
Okay, all right, sunflower, spill the beans.
But do you answer this creature? What do you want to say back? Because all you heard was, "Hello, can you hear me? Can you understand me?"
Okay, we can hear you. How can we help you? How can we bring you back?
Oh my goodness, I have been trapped here for... You don't understand. It's not entirely my fault. There were others. We used to take care of this. We used to be the ones that were in charge of this entire amazing ecosystem of this whole lake. But I'm just not used to doing all of this alone, and I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know how to do this. I was always just told how to do it, and I tried to strike out of it on my own, and the others have left. I know I have the power, but I don't feel like I know who I am. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. How do I help people? How do I deliver things to them? How do I be me?
Okay, what's your name?
What's a name?
Oh no. Okay. How did you get here?
I've always been here.
Okay.
I'm part of the water. All of this is me.
What happened to the water?
I guess what happened to me. I lost who I am. Or maybe I never had it to begin with, since I simply identified it by the others that were here.
How can I help?
Well, How do you know who you are?
That's a good question. Because I got my trusty paintbrush and sunflower. So I paint my path. Can I paint you a new path?
I can try. What are you going to paint?
Paint you a matching hat. What else? Maybe a matching mouse. So you can have matching mouse friends.
Are you just gonna paint yourself on me?
Okay, what kind of hat do you want? It can't be the same as mine.
Can mine have a feather?
Absolutely. What color feather?
Something colorful and big. I've seen birds from the water, but I can't go in the air. I would love to have a hat with a feather.
Okay.
I would also love a
Alright.
cloak.
Okay. All right.
Maybe a cape.
All right. We're gonna paint you a Stetson with a big. What are those? The birds. The blue birds. What are they called?
The
The blue and the yellow birds. No, the blue and the yellow parrot. Parrot.
A macaw.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Brown Stetson, macaw feather, maybe some beads. Let's see. Do we want a matching cloak?
You tell me. He's kind of seemingly leaving it up to you for your artistic interpretation.
Okay.
You
All
are the
right.
artiste.
All right. All right. Harry Potter nerd in me wants to give you an invisibility cloak, so but let's not go with that. We're gonna go with something more. It's gonna be a cloak, but have the same colors as Starry Night, like Van Gogh brushstrokes, and it matches the same blue of the macaw feather.
And as you paint all of this, you see the creature look into the pool, and there's a little bit amount of it's a dark water, but it can still reflect, of course. And looking at their reflection, and looking up at you, and simply says, "What's your dream?"
My dream is to paint this town colorful.
And yeah, as you're saying this and you're kind of putting on the final touches, you see him kind of looking at the reflection more and more. And again, in your head, you hear, "I like that dream." And we're going to pull to see what happens for, because you're effectively casting a spell to be able to draw all this kind of stuff. We have another Joker. That is amazing that we got two Jokers and the unicorn card.
Does that not normally happen?
No.
Okay.
Usually, most of the time, we just get one. Like, we get one Joker or one unicorn card. Getting two is awesome. Getting all three, I think you might be the first one.
Okay. I'm not competitive.
Unless I'm misremembering, and maybe there was one other episode that happened on, but that's not usually what happens. Because we still have like probably half of the deck left. So
Do we?
these were up at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
we don't go through the whole deck. That's not the point. But I just mean
okay.
the odds are amazing. They're ever in your favor. Hunger Games.
Thank you.
So as you color this, you realize that all of a sudden it seems that your paints and the clothing that you're putting on this creature start to take their own a life of their own. They're starting to take their own movements and meld with him. And as various other colors start to form, and you see that this vision of the village that you saw, it starts reflecting in the pool in front of you as he looks at it and he's touching it, and he goes, yes, this is what I have wanted. I just didn't know how to be me enough to. And you start hearing in your voice, because all of this is in your head, these are not spoken words, almost these ramblings that start going into maybe even a language you don't completely understand. And as more and more water seems to come out of him, but it's no longer dark, you're seeing colors of all sorts as water starts spouting from him, filling up this entire cavern. And it's starting to get up to ankle height, knee height. You're starting to look around and realize it might be flooding this entire space as this is going. And at the very last moment, as you start to have a little bit of panic set in and realize that the rock behind which you were initially hiding, Maeve has now jumped onto this rock and is like looking around like, what is happening? What am I going to do here? All of a sudden, the waves around, they kind of come up around, they engulf all of you, and you all get sucked into this pool of water.
Okay.
And you get tossed around and thrown around, and as you get washed into, you come to, and as you look around, you are in the lake. And around you, you see colorful fish. You see colors of all sorts of plants and all sorts of life. You see two fish specifically chasing a dog that you realize might need a little bit of help.
You knew I was going to ask. You knew I was going to ask.
As they're a little bit bigger than the dog, and they realize they can get away with some stuff.
Funny.
Would you like to do anything to try to save the dog? What would you like to do?
Is he in danger?
It is very obvious that the dog is no longer chasing the fish. The fish are chasing the dog.
All right, we're scooping up Herbie. Let's go get him. He's gonna be very excited to see me, as always.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Sure.
We're gonna pull a card for the fish and a card for you. I'm gonna subtract 3 from whatever the fish pull, because I'm gonna say that at this point you're gonna be better off. So even if they pull a better card than you, that's okay. So the first card is for the fish. The second card is for you. You don't even need the help. That's a 3 for the fish and a 9 for you. You swoop in there. You grab him, and you're able to make your way up to the city. And as you come out, as you're going through. By the way, the fish, what it looked like, one of the ones that you got them away from was this giant kind of fish. So you could see why she would be terrified of something like that. But still, you're seeing all this color and all this life. And it's not as if necessarily there's ill will in this ecosystem. It's just, it's life. It's the way that it is. And as you get out of the water and you finally make your way up, you see just this amazing city again. It is colorful. It is the way that you saw it out of that window once you painted, and you can smell life. It just smells as if it's full of potential, full of hope, and you realize that it has taken you to be able to show the identity to another being, for it to be able to realize that with a mission, with the proper identity of a goal, and really having a dream that it can chase, it can then build what that needs to look like. And that without it, it seems kind of pointless if you can't entirely paint from a vision. And as it all wraps up, you are able to spend another night at the tavern. Maeve gives you a free room, given that you brought all this back. She comes to find later on in the morning and tell you that so many of the trees are now blooming again, and that it's going to resolve so much of this. And you've realized that through this, you have fixed the identity of the water spirits that inhabited this entire lake, and you have brought back the town. It will still take some time. It's not as if it's completely fixed the colors back, but of course the attitude of the people will take some time to change. But
Might go paint some more hats.
and
I'll
absolutely, you
change
can
the
go.
attitude.
You're just sitting in the tavern just as people walk in. You're just painting hats and putting them on people with different things. And they're all sitting and they're kind of having a fun time. They're drinking just to be merry, but not over drinking to forget by any means. And as you finish off your stay and you make your way out of the city, you're passing by that old man that was sitting and that was fixing his nets, and he just kind of looks at you with a smile and says, "I'm glad you went deep."
Okay.
And with that, you have completed your adventure in resurrecting this town. You have helped paint a new picture and revitalize this entire identity of it. That is where we're going to end it right there. Any final thoughts, words, ideas, comments?
I will. What kind of hat would you get painted?
What kind of town would I have painted?
No, what kind of
Or
hat?
hat on
Would
him?
you have wanted me to paint you? Yeah.
I was honestly thinking like a pirate hat for no good reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I don't know, but maybe a pirate hat would have set him off into something bad and evil, and maybe he would become a pirate and it would become a pirate town. That's identity.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, chapter 2. It depends. Good question. All right.
Thank
Well, on that, we're going to wrap it on up. Thank you to all of you for watching. This was fun. I had a blast going through this, especially with all the visuals of the mouse and then the dog being chased by fish. There were a lot of great visuals for me. If only I had the time to create all that wonderful art as well.
you. I know, right?
But yeah.
Thank you so much.
right.
It was a pleasure. I had a great time. Thank you.
Yeah. Same here.